Okay, we should be live. And I'm trying a totally different setup here. So we'll see how it goes when get a few people in. As you can see, I'm drawing. I decided to try a little experiment, and try to do a live drawing. And it was a little bit tricky to get all this set up. Hello, Bradley, and hey, Byron, how you doing? Brandon, Gemini, how you do? Kevin. Hey, Bradley, I'm doing a lot better, thank you. I was feeling not too good last week, but oh yeah, the title. It still says the title from last week. Let me fix it. Let me see if I can fix it. Hold on. Hang on. Alright, well, let's see if this will work. I don't know. Okay. Alright, it says it saves the changes, so hopefully the title of the chat has been updated. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. Alright. So, it took me a minute to figure out. Hello, Mike Lopez, Jeff A. Dragon, let's see. And Jason, Green Yeti, hello. Yeah, no, I'm not still under the weather. I just forgot to change the title of the live stream from last week. Sorry about that. So, hold on a second here. All right. So we're gonna see how well we do this. So, somebody in Facebook suggested that I draw Sergeant Slaughter, so I kind of got a Sergeant Slaughter started here. I don't know how it's gonna go. I've never done a live drawing before, so I figured out how to set up my phone to use it as a camera, and I thought I'd give this a try. And I just kind of sketched out a pose here, and I've got my Sergeant Slaughter figure here for reference. I have noticed that there's some lag in the video that's coming through my phone, so I'm sorry about that. I don't know exactly what to do about that, but anyway, what we're going to try to do this evening is we're going to try to draw Sergeant Slaughter. So let's see how that goes. This is, and I'm drawing this from scratch, which is why I tried to get started before the live stream started, because I needed a minute to work out, you know, some of the preliminary stuff and see what kind of pose I was going to do. The hat is difficult. The hat is not easy. There we go. All right, sorry, but I should still be able to see your chats. Sorry about that, and as long as I keep it scrolled down. Thank you, Kevin, an action figure expert. How you doing? Hello, Rob M. Sorry if I miss your chat in the live stream while I'm doing this. Normally, drawing is something I kind of do on my own without, you know, talking with somebody while I'm doing it. But anyway, this is kind of what I'm going for. If the other camera feed will catch up. Come on now. Man, it is really slow. So I may have to get a different app for this. Yeah, it's totally frozen. Oh, well, there it goes. There it goes. So that's kind of what I'm going for. And this, I just set this up a couple minutes before before we started here, so I didn't have very much time to figure out the best way to arrange the picture here. So sorry if it's a little, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. Also, I couldn't find like any of my regular pencils, so I'm using this cheap mechanical pencil with a little eraser. So you know, but you know what they say though, it's the poor artist that blames his tools. So that's why it's the fault of my tools. Blame the tools. Hello, Adam Airwolf. How you doing? I'm feeling fine, action figure expert. Sorry, I forgot to change the title of the live stream, but I'm doing fine. Last week was kind of rough, but I tried to rest some and doing much better this week. Okay, so let's see. Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter has kind of an exaggerated musculature here. And in the G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter, his physique does not really match the real Sergeant Slaughter's physique, I have to say. They were very generous to him in his you know, muscle mass. So we'll go with that. So yeah, here we go. Adam, I'm feeling fine. And hopefully the title of the live stream has updated. Unfortunately, I forgot to change it from last week because I was busy trying to set this up. I was trying to figure out how to do this. I've never done like a live stream of a live drawing before. I've seen others do it, but I've never tried it. So we're going to attempt it. Let's see here. I'm trying to get this more in frame. And it's a little distorted because the camera is sort of at an angle. So this may look like crap to you, but you know, it's live television, anything could go wrong. Hello, Invader 6, how you doing? And Ratface, how do you do? Hey, the Human Mechanism is here, how do you do? Okay, Mike Lopez says, a title says Drawing Sergeant Slaughter Live. Okay, good. So it fixed it. Good. Thank you very much. All right. So, well, let's see. I've kind of just sort of sketched stuff out here without trying to, like, pick out the actual lines that I want. But I guess I should be brave and try to get something going here. Anyway, so Scoop. The Scoop review went up on Sunday. I hope everybody watched it. I hope everybody had a nice time. I did want to fix something though. There's something that I missed in the Scoop review. So there is kind of an unadvertised feature on the camera and the backpack. I'll use this up here. On the camera and the backpack, there is this little knob right here, and recessed into the side of the camera right there, there's a little knob there, and I don't know if it's exactly made to do this, but they will fit together so you can attach the camera to the backpack. So that is something that I missed in the Scoop review. So that is possible, and that's fine, and that's actually not a bad feature. I still would really like a holster for that pistol, though. Thanks, Gemini. I've pretty much gotten over the cold. Every once in a while, I'll have a little bit of a cough, but that's just some residual stuff. For the most part, I am symptom-free. So... yeah, I'm doing a lot better. Thanks, everyone, for your concern. I appreciate it. Photo Viper liked the Scoop review. Thank you very much. I tried to put something a little extra into it with the little Ernie Pyle tribute. Only Chuckles gets a holster. I mean, they had like sheaths for knives, but I mean, why didn't we get gun holsters? That would have been much more useful. And don't get me wrong, you know, I'm happy that, you know, like Hit and Run had a place to store his knife and Shockwave and all the rest of them. But, I mean, you had a ton of figures that came with pistols. And, you know, some of them even had, like, pretty significant large holsters sculpted onto the figure, like Hawk version 2. And, like, man, I just really wanted those to be functional. How was work the day after the Scoop review? Well, I actually had the day after the Scoop review off because it was Martin Luther King Jr.'s... well, it wasn't really his birthday, but it was the holiday for it. So I had the day off. Hey, that's one small benefit of being a government employee is I get all of those holidays off. Had Scoop and Lightfoot and Airtight. Liked them all for some reason. Still do. John likes all of those. If you put Scoop side by side with Lightfoot, man, those colors are almost identical. It's like they used exactly the same color palette for both of them. Got to have some like muscles and veins popping out of the Sarge's neck because he's there you go, always flexing. Oh, Rob M saw a bald eagle flying overhead. That's does that make you feel patriotic? Actually, kind of it is a really majestic bird. I've seen a couple of them in the wild, and they are just amazing creatures. Man, okay. So this is an experiment, and I can see right now that my camera, camera on my phone is lagging very badly. In fact, it seems to be locked. Okay, now it's moving. If I ever do this again, I will find a way to do it that will work better. But hey, it was an experiment. You know, we're just trying this out. Let's see. And he's got his... oh, hold on. I forgot his whistle. He's got a whistle. Let's see. Kind of drawing it at an angle here. There. Alright. Whistle band. There. Well, that's actually not very good, but you know, it's live TV. Sorry about your friend's mom, Green Yeti. Put a 91 Sci-Fi's helmet on a Sky Patrol Airborne's head, and you have a Mars military soldier from Total Recall. That would be amusing. You know, I haven't seen Total Recall in a long time. Now you're going to make me want to watch that movie again. There is something to be said for these, like, ridiculous, over-the-top, you know, 80s action movies. Now, when I did this drawing, or when I started, I didn't take the proper precautions and like cover part of it so that it wouldn't smudge. So now it's kind of smudgy, and I don't really have here. I use this. Man, that's lagging badly. So yeah, I thought I would do his baton, his swagger stick, little brass head on it. gripped in his fist here. Not using any tools or straight edges, which I really should do for something like this, but thumb will come out to like this. Thumbnail. There. He's got a wristband. All right. Hi, Tim Lloyd. I'm sorry for your friend, Green Yeti. That's very sad. When did Sergeant Slaughter ever even blow the whistle in the cartoon? I don't know that he did. I mean, there are some like training scenes that he did, and maybe he did it in those scenes, but I don't recall. Good question. Running Man. Yeah, that's another one. You know, there's something to be said. You know, those like Schwarzenegger, those cheesy Schwarzenegger action movies. I don't know if they necessarily qualify as, you know, good movies, but they were entertaining. And I apologize if this is distracting, folks. This is an experiment. You know, we're always trying new things, trying to see if they'll work. Is G.I. Joe Extreme canon to Sunbow and Deke G.I. Joe? Peter Ang asks. I don't think so. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think so. Alright, that looks sort of like a hand. Alright. Jason Karist says, how about those Patriots? Man, I honestly did not think the Patriots were going to beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs had an excellent team this year. But, as history has taught us, it's best not to bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs. You know, that's still a reality. Invader 6 says he can speak like Arnold. Yes, David Fitchner, the live stream has been slaughterized. I'm doing an extremely mediocre sketch of Sergeant Slaughter here. You know, I wish I thought ahead and maybe planned this out a little bit better, because this is not going to take the whole hour, and my screen is like this, and it'll be kind of difficult to change this when I'm done. So maybe I'll just keep working on it for the whole hour. Maybe if I keep working on it, it'll get better. And it's a little bit distorted for you guys, sorry, because of the camera angle. So these are all things, if I ever do this again, we will improve it. And the thing's locked up right now. Anyway, that's how it's looking at the moment. I have like the left arm kind of pulled in close to the body just because my composition isn't very good. Man, come on. This thing... Yeah. Okay, well... Yeah, let's see here. Let's try that again. Let's see if it'll unfreeze. I did want him to have his big Marine Corps belt buckle. Oh, okay. All right. For a second, it's unfrozen. Uh-oh. We may have lost the camera, folks. The other camera. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's still locked up. All right, hang on. Sorry, folks. I don't know if this thing is gonna work. Hey, and by the way, regardless of what the Sergeant Slaughter's real physique is, I would never insult someone that large. So yeah, all right. So we got kind of the basic idea here, and it's far from perfect. The anatomy is a little questionable, and the composition certainly could be a lot better, but we got basically the idea here. Kind of drawing these lines that give the muscles shape. I'm also trying to keep in mind that, like, he's wearing a shirt here, so it's not a bare chest. So I'm trying to, you know, have some kind of a feel of fabric here. Hey, speaking of Sergeant Slaughter, I should be able to meet Sergeant Slaughter at Joe Fest. That's the plan, anyway. I know not everybody can, you know, just travel to a convention, but I hope some of you guys can make it to Joe Fest. I hope some of you guys can make it to Joe Fest, because once again, I'm supposed to have a panel at Joe Fest, and we're supposed to talk about some cool stuff and also maybe announce some things at Joe Fest. So if the worst thing that can happen is I finally get a panel at a convention and nobody shows up. So I'm counting on at least a few of you guys showing up so it won't be an empty room. All right, so we got his, let's see. Once again, I'm looking at my figure for reference. We've got his USA. Trying to put that on here. We'll wrap this up pretty soon, I think. Peter Ang says he can't. He's only 16 next month. He'll be turning 17. Well, Peter, I think then you can. I mean, you're old enough to drive. So I'd say just tank of gas, jump in the car, road trip. No, I understand. I'm hoping that some folks can show up. I mean, I can't travel to all of the conventions that I'd like to go to, so I understand. Beta Ray Bob says if you meet Sergeant Slaughter, be sure to post a picture with him on Twitter and Facebook. I definitely will. And one of my hopes, I'll say, one of my goals would be to get him to say slaughterize it to the camera. Like, to actually get the real Sergeant Slaughter to yell slaughterize it at me would be fantastic. And Sergeant Slaughter seems to be a really good sport. He's very responsive on social media, which I think is nice. If Sergeant Slaughter had an air vehicle, would it be the Slaughter Chopper? It might be the Slaughter Chopper. Alright, I mean, that's the basic idea, isn't it? Ben Walsh says any vintage figures or vehicles or figures I don't own. Yeah, a ton of stuff that I don't own. I'm still collecting, you know, and I'm kind of doing these reviews as I go. I have picked up a lot of stuff, and some folks have sent stuff to me, which is very generous. And that helps a lot. In fact, hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can do this here real quick. And some folks have still been sending stuff to my office, so again, I don't solicit anyone, to send donations to me, but sometimes people do, and if you do, I want to make sure you send them to the right place. So I do have a post office box now, so I want to make sure you have that. So I will be putting that in the chat right now for future reference. Dang it, there we go. All right, for future reference. But always please remember, you don't have to send me anything. If you do, I will put it in an unboxing video. In fact, I have stuff right over there that folks have sent to me that I will put in an unboxing video at the end of the month. So, hi Matt Rubin, how you doing? Hey Chris, how do you do? And Eric Amon. Eric did a $100 super chat, and that is the record so far, Eric. I hope you don't regret that, because that was extremely generous. I can tell you that Mrs. HCC certainly appreciates it, because I do spend a lot of money on this stuff, and I'm certainly not rich. And also we have some travel expenses to cover this year, so it's very much appreciated. The laptop on which I'm doing the live stream right now was donated by a viewer. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be able to do this, actually. But I don't want anybody to ever feel obligated to do anything like that. But I'm not going to deny it helps a lot. Alec Tuttles asks, best typo negative song for a G.I. Joe soundtrack. I'm not sure I could pick one, so I'll leave that discussion to everyone else to decide. While I figure out how to do this. He's got to have the Marine Corps emblem on the belt buckle. At least sort of an outline of it. I'm not going to say that's great, but you get the idea. We've got the globe, the anchor, and the eagle. I'll just kind of suggest some continents here. Oh, thank you, Chris, for the super chat for $2. I appreciate that. And I didn't have any plans for this specific drawing. I just started drawing. And I am not the best at live drawing, so it's been very sketchy. So yeah, thank you. I'm going to let's see. I mean, I've got it. I'm kind of filling in some detail here, with a little bit of cross hatching. I don't know how the lighting should work. I've never been the best at shading. Well, we've got some sunglasses here, kind of like that. And I just feel like the light source is coming from over here, so I'm going to try to sort of shade it in accordingly. If I were to do this on my own and not in a live stream, I feel like I could do better. In fact, this is why I'm reluctant to do live drawing, because my fear has always been that it won't turn out very well. Oh, hey, who sent $5? Oh, Adam Airwolf, thank you for... I'm sorry, Adam Verwolf. Thank you for the $5. That's very kind. Thank you very much. That's extremely generous. I want to remind everybody, and you know, it's just my background and my upbringing to feel like we're trained to feel guilty when people give us things. So it's just my natural instinct. But it's very nice. It is appreciated very much. I agree with Kevin. Thank you guys for supporting. And I think I missed some of your comments, and I'm sorry about that. When I'm drawing like on my own, I'm very focused. I can't talk to anyone. I get like almost over focused on the drawing. I didn't do that belt too well. The belt has like a pattern on it. So I'm trying to sort of replicate that. I didn't get the belt loops quite right, but we'll just go with it. I don't want to go full Rob Liefeld on it. There's a perhaps erroneous school of thought is that, you know, if you just keep adding detail, maybe you can turn a bad drawing into a better one. It doesn't really work that way, though. All right, so we got that would be in shadow. This would kind of be in shadow too. And this. All right. Oh, I guess, yeah, the hat. Let's see. It'd be kind of like this. Something like that. Shading has never been my strong suit, so it's easy to take a halfway decent drawing and make it a bad one by just overdoing it. So that's what I'm trying to do now. My next goal is to take a halfway decent drawing and just keep putting lines on it until it's terrible. Okay, so I'm sorry I missed some of your chat. Will 8-inch G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter rubber figure get a review? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't have it, but I have that Sergeant Slaughter that Susan got me, the one with the Iraq sympathizer Sergeant Slaughter. I guess I could review that. Chris says, "Oh God, don't be Liefeld." See, that's what I'm trying. See, that's exactly what I was thinking of. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Like, I mean, that was the '90s, right? This idea that if you just keep putting more lines on it, that somehow it'll be better. So that is far from perfect, but I think I'm going to call that done. If I keep, you know, putting more lines on it is not going to help. I do feel like I could have done better if I had focused more, but for our purposes and just for fun, that is how it'll be right now. So let's see. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can. Yeah, let's see. Let me see if I can turn this Well, let me turn it. Well, that's not the best angle. Let's see. It's kind of like, let's see, where's a good spot for it? Like, anyway, so Eric wants to know what's my favorite sub team, and I've thought about this. It's hard. It's not easy to answer, but I like Night Force. I don't know if you even necessarily count that as a sub team, but it exists. If you don't just count Joe's sub teams, then I like the Dreadnoks. I think the Dreadnoks are really cool. And I mean, Tiger Force certainly was better than a lot of them, but Tiger Force was just all reissued stuff. I'm trying to get this in a good, framing and just leave it there, but it's hard for me to figure out where this should be. Let's see here. Down and this way. Okay. All right. There. Okay. There is our Sergeant Slaughter. Okay, there we go. Do you like the Valor versus Venom Night Force members like from 2004? Some of them are good. That series had a Night Force Beachhead, didn't it? Because I seem to recall seeing a Night Force Beachhead that I thought was all right. Tony Jackson likes the Iron Grenadiers. Oh man, I didn't mention the Iron Grenadiers. Iron Grenadiers are fantastic. I mean, Destro himself is such a strong character, and the special missions issue that I mentioned in the Scoop review. Another reason why it's so cool is Iron Grenadiers. They are great fighters in that one. I mean, they are a really great opponent for G.I. Joe. Very professional fighters, fierce fighters, and of course they are, because I mean, Destro wouldn't have anything less, would he? Eric Tuttles points out that on the reissue subsets, not everybody could get the originals. And that's right. I think that's like the main draw of the subsets like Tiger Force is. And actually, that's the way I used Tiger Force, because for some of my figures, I mean, I didn't have them anymore because for one reason or another, they were lost or broken. Or I just didn't have them anymore. So I think by the time Tiger Force rolled around, well, actually, by that time, I was very close to being done with G.I. Joe. That was like the tail end of my G.I. Joe collecting. But, like, I replaced my Duke figure because I didn't have it anymore. And I don't recall if I was missing Flint or not, but I'm pretty sure, I think I've picked up the Flint figure. But yeah, that was the main purpose for Tiger Force at the time, at least for me, was to get these figures that I didn't have already. Zazzle Phoenix says, I'm not going to say Marauder Sarge is my favorite Sarge, but he is my favorite Marauder. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, and also, this is the roadblock that I drew last week. And I was actually fairly happy with it. I actually thought his face actually turned out pretty well. Man, that really distorts the picture on that phone just because the angle is off. So, anyway. I mean, okay, so sub-teams that were not reissues. There weren't a lot of them. Well, I mean, there were some. Like, Tony points out, DEF figures. If you go into the 90s, you have some sub-teams that were, like, all new. Not like Ninja Force, you know, those are sub-teams, not reissues. And it really, like, earlier in the line, Battle Force 2000, for all of its flaws, you know, was all new. You know, all new figures, all new characters, all new vehicles. So, you know, that it has that going for it. Yeah, at least, yeah, that's true. At least Mission Brazil had a new character. But the character was, you know, made up of all unique, or I'm sorry, all reused parts. So, actually, Claymore is in a lot of respects similar to Sky Striker in Tiger Force, where he was like their one new character, but all made up of reused parts. RTD1 says Brazil Special Missions was a neat set. I think it's a neat set too. In fact, there are some really good figures in that set. And it is, yeah, it's certainly unique. But some of the recolors are less than great. But I have listened to the tape, you know, so I can say that I think the tape, the story tape that came with Special Mission Brazil, I do think it was better than the one that came with Listen Fun Tripwire. So that was an upgrade. Joe Motion says he only has Claymore. Well, hey, Byron, Claymore is a good place to start because that seems to be the hardest one to get. Michael Bassett, mainframe. Oh, yeah, that mainframe is something. It's something else. Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what kind of mission in Brazil these guys are equipped for. Yeah, one thing about the Special Mission Brazil tape, recording is only on one side. Side B is blank, and it actually says to record your own adventure on side B. I was actually hoping that some kid had recorded his own adventure on that tape, and I would actually get to hear some kid's recorded adventure on side B. But no, the side B on my tape is still blank. Green Yeti says, "This is the year I make you a Globulus fan." Well, you are welcome to try. Thank you, Dusty. I do feel like I can... This is maybe not my best work, but we have just been having fun this evening. And so I decided to just do a quickie live drawing of Sergeant Slaughter. Somebody on Facebook brought up Sergeant Slaughter, and you know, it's a good point. I don't draw that character very often, so there's a Sergeant Slaughter for you. Yeah, Jason says that would be great. My recordings were horrid. Yeah, I would imagine that a kid's recording on, you know, the side B of that tape, it may not be, you know, great art, you know, wouldn't exactly be War and Peace, but it would probably be very imaginative, and I think it would have been fun to listen to. In fact, maybe that should be a project. Maybe we should try to find Special Mission Brazil tapes that have recordings on it on side B. I would really be interested in that. Thank you, Green Yeti. Oh, Bart D-Man says, greetings from the Philippines. Greetings to the Philippines from the United States. Thanks for joining us. B Bishop, did I draw a beachhead yet? I did draw a beachhead, but not recently. Like, I don't know, year and a half ago or so, I drew a beachhead. And I think that's the last beachhead that I drew. So maybe I should draw a beachhead next. I don't know. I actually have been too busy to draw. This is actually the first drawing that I've done since last week, just because I've been busy doing other stuff. And this week at work is going to be very busy, so I may not have time to draw this week. Zazzle Phoenix asks if it'll go up on eBay. I hadn't really thought of it, but I guess I could put it up on eBay. I got to sign it. I forgot to sign it. Dare I claim credit for it? Hold on, let's... yeah, right here. Here. There you go. It's authenticated. David Fitchinger says, Major Blood is fun to draw. Yeah, I have done Major Blood once, and it is a very interesting figure to draw. When I draw Major Blood, what I like to do is like use his like the articulation on the figure itself as part of his robot arm. Jack says he bids $50. I don't know that this is necessarily worth that, but I guess I can put it on eBay. I've just been putting drawings on eBay recently and just you know, letting people decide if they want them. It's certainly helped me. My goal is to my goal is to keep the channel running. To get certain pieces of equipment that I need that I think will improve the look and feel of the channel, and to also get a few important items that I will need to review. So I got to get some new toys, and also to get to Joe Fest and back without going broke. So those are my goals for 2019, is to not go broke doing all of those things. So if somebody picks up a sketch for a few bucks on eBay, it helps. It does help. Byron says he drew blood before. You know, hey, that's almost the same thing. Zazzle says commission work. I never thought about commissions. I mean, I sort of do. Like if you join Patreon. You at a certain level, I'll do a sketch, and I'll do whatever you want. So I have done commissions that way, but I can assure you, this is. I feel like I can do better than this. I don't feel like this is my best work, but it's there. It's done at least. Thank you, Cobra Viper. Peter Ang says, did I watch G.I. Joe Sigma 6? I not when it was on. I've gone back and I've watched some of it. I haven't seen all of it, but I've seen some of it. And I don't feel like I've seen enough of it to really draw a good solid conclusion about it. I'd have to see more of it. Once you get outside of the vintage stuff, my knowledge is quite fuzzy. But, you know, I've been trying to learn and, you know, check out these things that came around, you know, after I was done collecting. Zazzle says he needs a Hoodie Coco Sarge drawing in his life. Well, here is one right here. And John needs a drawing of Skidmark, ASAP. Drawing of Skidmark. I have to think about, like, Skidmark is usually behind a steering wheel most of the time, so how have to think about how his helmet goes, and maybe I just like have him standing like hands on his wrists or hands on his hips or something like that. You know, he's not in the desert fox. He's just kind of hanging out. I don't know. And then he's got a vest, and he's got the knit pattern shirt. I have noticed that, like, I don't do like a lot of action poses. And I'm not sure why not. People would probably like action poses more. But I just feel, for some reason, when I start drawing, what I feel like is I want to sort of see these characters, you know, not necessarily at rest, but in sort of an unexaggerated manner, something more casual. And I'm not sure exactly why that is the aesthetic that I go for, but that is typically how I draw. I don't know why. I don't know why. That's just the mood that hits me. Jason Carest says Desert Fox is the name of a strip club. That doesn't surprise me. And hey, you never know. Maybe that's where they got the idea. And this is a picture of this is a drawing of Skidmark, just kind of standing at the door of the strip club, wondering if he's got enough singles for tips. Anyway, it would be something like that. I'd have to look at the figure to remember how all the stuff on the chest goes. But I know he's got like a tactical vest, and I just like put his hands on his hips, something like that. Tony Jackson says if there's a strip club called Chuckles, he's done. Somebody Google that. I am not a pro. Sometimes I wish I had like a little bit more time to practice so that I could improve a little bit, but I don't. I am dedicating absolutely all of my time to necessary things, so getting extra time to do something like, you know, practice drawing rarely happens. Hello, Gerardo. How do you do? The strippers are all Cobra Law Royal Guard. That I don't think they're gonna get a lot of tips. Yeah, I'm trying to keep in mind that there is a young person in our midst. I don't consider these jokes to be too risque, but Green Yeti, if your parents don't approve, you'll just have to cover your ears. His helmet's something like... Yeah, Skidmark's helmet is almost like a baseball, like, batting helmet. It's got kind of a bill, and it kind of comes out here to protect the ears, and it's got a dent. I remember it has a dent in it. Grunt, grunt, grunt. Yeah, David, earn while you learn. That's how it goes. Maybe if I have a few minutes and take a look at the figure, I could finish this. But I don't. I'd have to go get the figure, and the figure's not accessible right now because we had a party at our house, birthday party for Audrey, so I had to put all of my stuff away. And so putting it away sometimes means like really compacting things and you know, shoving them in corners and really getting them out of the way. So some of that stuff is not where I can easily get at them. So anyway, there's the start of skid mark there. The eyes aren't right. Eyes are wrong. But anyway, oh, I didn't realize we're close to finishing our hour. I'll go a couple minutes over the hour just because you guys let me waste some time. There we go. Let me waste a little time with some sketches. So thanks for that. So thanks everyone for showing up. We're going to get an ugly ass figures too. I don't know. Maybe. So yeah, there's something like that. Yeah, Brandon, the hour went by fast. Thanks everyone for your patience. I don't know that I will necessarily do this again, at least not anytime soon. If I did it, I need to figure out how to make this camera work a lot better. It's very jumpy. Frame rate is very low, so in 90s color. See, all of these like ugly ass figures in 90s color, all of these things could have a comeback. Just have to, it's the opportunity that needs to come up. And a complete side note, there is a possibility that I might be doing a podcast this week. If I find out for certain, then I will let you guys know. But I've been invited to one at least. And if I actually do it, I'll make sure to send you guys the link. Ladies Month. Delvis, I'd love to do a Ladies Month. I think the only problem with doing a Ladies Month is there aren't enough figures, enough female figures in the vintage line, and like they'd be all done. But you know, it could still be done. It could still be done. I can think of some ways to do it. Yeah, John Ramey says there aren't enough ladies, and that would be the difficulty of doing a whole month of them. But I don't know. Some of the older reviews that I did could maybe be redone. I do wish there were more female characters that actually got action figures in the vintage era. But unfortunately, there just weren't very many. Robert Hawkins, I think I may have covered them all already. So if I were to review them, it would have to be a redo. It'd have to be just doing it again. Hey, Javier Gonzalez, Major Blood, made it at the last minute. Well, hey, I'm staying on for just a couple more minutes. I spent the most of the hour drawing this extremely mediocre drawing of Sergeant Slaughter. Yeah, Brandon says there are only 7 women figures, so it makes it tough. I wish we had gotten more. Alec raises a good point. Technically, if people give me money for sketches, I'm a pro. Therefore, I am a professional artist. All right, Green Yeti, you gotta watch. You gotta keep it clean, otherwise your mom and dad are not gonna let you watch anymore. Javier, I believe you'd like to go by Ivan. Sorry, I should call you Ivan, I think. My oldest daughter, Victoria, she has drawn a few for me. So, not for a while, though. Maybe I should have her do some. Anyway, so it is, I mean, I did want to go a couple minutes past the hour, but I should wrap it up soon. I haven't had dinner yet. Dinner is done, and it's getting cold as I do this, so I do need to eat something. So, and again, once again, this was an experiment. I don't know if I will do this again, but if I do, I will find a way to make it work better. So, yeah. But anyway, I'll call that a day. Thanks everyone for coming by. Really great live chat this time. Really nice to see everyone. Yeah. So everybody be cool. We will do this again next week. And oh, by the way, the review that should be going up on Sunday, it is done. It is ready. All right. Patrons will get their early access on Friday, so it's good to go. Now the review after that is kind of a big one, and I have not made a lot of progress on that one, so I really got to get to work if I want to keep up with this schedule. So anyway, thanks everyone. I will say good night, and I will push this button to turn this thing off.